metaphors and adjectives assimilate. You second-rate at best and stress by sentences I formulate. It's detrimental to your health when kids spit on the track. She got you searching for your ego, wishing for it back. She gripped the mic so hard, surprising she don't snap her wrist. That girl is sick as
Their defense forces have formed their own Sunni coalition. So when President Obama touches down here, what they want from him is going to be a missile defense shield against any aggression they see from Iran. Of course, he wants their help in defeating ISIS and bringing peace to Syria. But all of this 28 pages, the bill before Congress, all of this is going to weigh very, very heavily on their meetings here. Brooke?
We will turn to you for the coverage to see what's discussed, how we move forward. Nick Robertson, thank you so much in Saudi Arabia. I'm Brooke Baldwin here. Thank you so much for being with me in New York. Jake Tapper continues our live special coverage of the New York primary, and that begins right now.
Thanks, Brooke. New York, New York. Will Donald Trump's hometown advantage put him over the top here? Will the city that never sleeps punish Ted Cruz for his slam on New York values? And if she can make it here, can Hillary Clinton snap Bernie Sanders' winning streak? The lead starts right now. Good afternoon and welcome to a special edition of The Lead. I'm Jake Tapper and we are live in New York. Here is something that hardly ever happens here in the Empire State. The primary vote here actually matters on both sides of the aisle. New Yorkers playing a crucial role for the first time in decades. The Democrats have 247 delegates at stake here. Republicans have 95. 4 presidents were born in New York, and the Republican frontrunner, voting at New York Central Synagogue just a few blocks away from Trump Tower, well, he would like to be number 5.
Who you voting for?
Easy decision. Hillary Clinton voted at an elementary school in the suburb of Chappaqua, along with former President Bill Clinton.
I just urge everybody, please come out and vote before 9 p.m. tonight.
Brooklyn-born Bernie Sanders does not vote in New York, since he obviously lives in Vermont, but that did not stop him from making this prediction.
We're feeling very good, and if there's a large voter turnout, despite the impediment of 3 million people not being able to participate, I think we're going to do just fine.
Voters heading to the polls right now across New York State. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump by far the frontrunners, according to the latest public opinion polls. But after some recent bumps in the road, each candidate is hoping a big win here will blunt the recent momentum of challengers Bernie Sanders and Ted Cruz. CNN's Brianna Keeler has that story.
Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump voting in their hometowns this morning.
This has been a joy during the last 2 weeks to be here all over the state.
The frontrunners hoping polls that show them with commanding leads in New York will sweep them to big victories.
I think I'm going to do well. I mean, we'll see. Who knows? It's politics, right?
Even as Trump's staff is getting a shakeup. His national field director, Stuart Jolly, resigned Monday, days after Trump brought on former Scott Walker campaign manager Rick Wiley above Jolly as national political director. Jolly's departure shrinks the circle of aides loyal to Trump campaign manager Corey Lewandowski, as newly hired convention manager Paul Manafort gains more clout in the campaign. Trump is downplaying the staff moves.
When you bring in new people, and we're bringing in very high-level people, as you know, the one ran Walker's campaign. He was and is a very top guy. So when you bring other people in, I could see some people, their feelings get a little bit hurt.
As Trump looks to stop Senator Ted Cruz's recent gains in the delegate count, he's skewing the Republican Party's delegate selection process.
In the case of the Democrats, they have superdelegates. In our case, it's worse because it's more sinister. It's harder to see, but it's actually more devious and it's worse.
But what he calls devious, the RNC and other GOP groups call delegate selection rules, ones Trump's team has yet to master.
Who do we got up there?
Trailing Trump in New York, John Kasich and Cruz are looking ahead. Kasich in Maryland and Pennsylvania, where Cruz also spent New York primary day. Bernie Sanders took a quick walk in New York today before also moving to campaign in Pennsylvania. The Vermont senator saying the New York polls are selling him short and lamenting the rules that don't allow independents, who generally support him over Clinton, to vote.
I'm afraid she's going to be disappointed. We're feeling very good, and if there's a large voter turnout, despite the impediment of 3 million people not being able to participate, I think we're going to do just fine.
Now, Clinton and Sanders in a dispute over how she raises money, Jake, with this joint fundraising account with the DNC. Specifically, he's questioning about the money that the DNC has, how that actually could benefit Hillary Clinton in this arrangement. The Clinton campaign firing back. They say this is a false attack. They say this is completely allowed. And it certainly does appear to be legal, but it highlights that she is relying on big money donors and he is relying on these small dollar donors.
That's right, Brianna. Thank you so much. We'll have more to talk about on that subject in a second. Right now, CNN's Jim Acosta is traveling with the Trump campaign, the Republican frontrunner, of course, hoping for a win in his home state. Jim, thanks for joining us. Donald Trump is fond of saying, these are my people at rallies here in New York. Those rallies, of course, have been full of raucous supporters. Does Trump's campaign think that he will sweep all 95 delegates today?
Well, it's going to be tough, Jake, but I talked to a top official inside Donald Trump's delegate operation who said, yes, it is possible they will beat that 50% threshold needed in New York's congressional districts and statewide to sweep up all 95 delegates. Now, if they don't get all of them, the campaign does not see that as some sort of setback. As for Trump, he was asked, as he was casting his ballot here in New York earlier today, what it means to vote for himself for president here in his home state, and here's what he had to say about that.
I think I'm going to do well. I mean, we'll see. Who knows? It's politics, right? You know that better than I do. But I think we'll do really well. It feels really good. Great support. You see all the people over there, all positive. No hecklers, no nothing.
Mr. Trump.
So I think we're going to do really well.
Now, I've been told by the campaign that they believe they have exited the stage of the campaign that favored Cruz, where caucuses and state conventions were key, and have entered the final stretch, which puts Trump on some pretty favorable terrain, especially here in the Northeast.
Jim, let's talk about this shakeup on the Trump campaign. Is it just beginning? What more can you tell us about that?
Jake, sources inside the Trump campaign say, no question, campaign manager Corey Lewandowski is now shifting into a more reduced role, more of a chief of staff role, as it was described to me as the campaign's new convention manager. Paul Manafort takes on more of a strategic position inside the organization. They've also brought in some seasoned veterans that Brianna was talking about, like attorney William McGinley, who confirmed to me he is now working on delegates and convention rules. Also, Rick Wiley has joined the campaign after working for Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker's presidential campaign. But Jake, one source I talked to earlier today said people are wondering inside the Trump campaign, what is Corey Lewandowski's role now?
We've been hearing a lot less from Donald Trump than we're used to, and what he has said has been less outrageous than in the past. Are Paul Manafort and Rick Wiley, the gentleman who joined the campaign you just mentioned, are they restraining him?
Well, that's no easy task. And remember, Jake, it was Lewandowski, as you know, who used to say, "Let Trump be Trump." But lately, you're right. Trump has been more cautious in his comments. But his attacks on the RNC and the party system for awarding delegates have raised eyebrows. So maybe not a total lid has been placed on what Trump is saying these days. And one Trump source tells me, from what he's hearing from party regulars, is that they don't mind that Donald Trump is running an anti-establishment campaign. They just want to see Donald Trump running a more professional campaign, and that will go a long way in attracting some of these nervous, uncommitted delegates that they're going to need down the stretch, Jake.
All right, Jim Acosta with the Trump campaign. Thanks so much. Joining me now, our mega panel for the hour. Let's start with Carl Bernstein, CNN political commentator and author of A Woman in Charge, The Life of Hillary Rodham Clinton. Also with us, Ryan Lizza, CNN political commentator and Washington correspondent for The New Yorker. Maggie Haberman, CNN political analyst and New York Times correspondent. Senior political analyst David Gergen, who was an advisor to Presidents Nixon, Ford, Reagan, and Clinton. Also with us, political commentators Jeffrey Lord and Anna Navarro. He's a Trump supporter who was Reagan White House political director. She was a Jeb Bush supporter. Also, the former governor of Michigan joins us, Jennifer Granholm. She's a senior advisor to Correct the Record, a super PAC that supports Hillary Clinton. And with us as well, Jonathan Tassini, the author of The Essential Bernie Sanders and His Vision for America. He's a Sanders supporter who challenged Hillary Clinton for her New York Senate seat in 2006 primary. Let's do a quick run down the row. What are you looking for tonight as the results come in? Carl.
Black turnout, whether Hillary will continue to get huge black support and get people to the polls, and whether young people are going to come out enough to support Bernie Sanders to the point where he can get her numbers down to below single digits, 8-9%, would be very good for him in this situation.
Ryan?
Well, the expectations are sort of out of control for the two frontrunners, right? It's their home states here, so it's about how big a blowout Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton have. And on the Trump side, very specifically the delegates, because we all know it's now a battle to deny him that 1237, and so does he hit 95 delegates, or does Ted Cruz and John Kasich eat into that delegate count?
He needs to get 50% in all of the 27 congressional districts.
And he'll take all 95, yeah.
Really run the table. Maggie.
All of the above, and also how Bernie Sanders does in the Hudson Valley. That was a real stronghold for Zephyr when she challenged Andrew Cuomo in the Democratic primary in 2014. I think that will tell us about how his support translates to different areas going forward.
Speaking of translation, tell people where the Hudson Valley is.
Hudson Valley is north of the city. So it's a swath in the middle of the state, and it is an area where the last person who had a very similar profile to Bernie Sanders did very, very well in a primary. It's not a perfect analog, but it is something to watch for.
Okay, and they're known for their artisanal cheese, their foie gras.
No stereotypes.
That's nice. I like that, David.
Building on Ryan's point about margins, I think it's all about margins, but the margins create the momentum. And I thought that momentum was going to shift more in Cruz's direction after Wisconsin. It looked like, the odds were favoring because he's got the inside game playing so well. But if Trump can really roll up the score here and then do that in Pennsylvania and Connecticut, I think it's going to be very different. And going into the convention, there's going to be a sense maybe the man with the most votes should indeed take it, as 62% of Republicans now say.
And I think that's part, Jeffrey, of his strategy now of a more restrained Donald Trump. Is that right?
Presidential?
If you say so.
I think he's going to do very well. I do think there's going to be a lot of momentum. Yesterday, I went to the opening of the Trump campaign headquarters in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. You've got to come to central Pennsylvania, as I believe he will next week, because that's the sort of Republican base, and in the fall campaign, you really need it. So I expect him to do very well and have him begin the final push here to June 7th.
Anna, what are you looking for?
On the Republican side, I'm looking to see if Kasich and Cruz break the 20% barrier. Are we going to have...
You get no delegates if you don't break that barrier.
Exactly. So at the end of the night, are we going to be left wondering, should Ted Cruz have coordinated with John Kasich here so that John Kasich who was the second in most polls, could have taken New York and maybe taken some delegates? If Donald Trump ends up with all the delegates, if neither Kasich nor Cruz ends up with any delegates, I think that the answer to that will be yes, and Ted Cruz will come home and regret it tomorrow. On the Democratic side, I'm looking to see how Bernie Sanders does with diversity voters. He's had a very hard time until now. New York is a microcosm of America where we have a lot of diversity within the state. I want to see how he does with Latinos. I want to see how he does with African Americans, with young people, with women around. So just look at the entire spectrum.
Governor?
I agree with Anna's last point. I'll be watching that as well. But I'll be, 3 weeks ago, Bernie Sanders was saying that New York was a must-win state for him. And I think anybody looking at the numbers has to agree that he's got to start eating into her numbers. And if he doesn't, and she ends up gaining on him, it's so difficult to see the path going forward. But I'll also look to see how he positions, if she wins tonight, how he positions himself vis-a-vis her. Because if he continues down this path of being very personally negative, that will be very damaging for the Democratic Party overall in the fall, and I don't think that will inure to his benefit or how he's viewed in this race overall.
Jonathan?
Well, I agree with Carl about turnout of young voters. And let's remember, Bernie Sanders, I think this will be similar to other states. He was 30, 40 points behind just a few months ago, and in almost every single election, the ones he's won, he's come from very far behind to either win or tie. In Wisconsin, he was about 5 or 6 points out, won 71 out of 72 counties. What I'm looking for is actually up in the upper state. Buffalo, Rochester, the areas that have been devastated by terrible trade agreements that Hillary Clinton has supported generally. Bernie Sanders has opposed throughout his career. If he does well there, it'll be probably a message he can carry into places like Pennsylvania and other states.
All right, fascinating stuff. Stick around, everybody. Coming up next, a cautious Hillary Clinton, a confident Bernie Sanders.
I never count any chickens before they hatch.
I'm afraid she's going to be disappointed.
Clinton's campaign says Sanders might be the Ralph Nader of 2016. Is the senator from Vermont running to be a spoiler? Stay with us.
Dominican and Puerto Rican, watching Mike get damaged. She spit it better than you speak in English or in Spanish. I'm sick to devastation, blasting all these number twos. What makes me think that I'm the one that envy you a dude? I'm nasty on the verse and sick with adjectives and verbs. Transfer language into art, but I'm just writing words. If I'm up next, you might get blessing. MCs leaving pressing. Still, you want contest? I'll bring my pen, you bring your skills. Bring your skills. Bring your skills. Bring your skills.
1, 2, 1, 2. Here, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Come on, 1, 2, 1, 2. One, two, 1, 2. Here, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Come on, 1, 2, 1, 2. Here, 1, 2. Yo, give me that microphone. I'm taking over like Skull and Bones. If you don't want to see them boys in your home, stay in your zone. It's the attack of the clones, cause these dudes on my bone like they gotta love Jones. Get off the I'm on some other I spit that clipple skin, mixoplex, opposite super You never get it if you never had it. Don't get your shattered, Mr. Glass, you know you really never mad it. I move smooth through the groove like a sax do. Same propels and excels right past you. Not saying I'm the best, but better than most. When I'm coming through your town, they call me Toast. So here's to you when your whack crew made the biting that you do be the death of you. I'm like Ethan Hunt, cause I'm on a mission, spitting hotter than the average on the mic. I need mittens. The truth is what I'm getting at when I'm ripping that style, flipping like an acrobat, accurate as a quarterback. I'm on a better path, do the math. I really own all I own, was better than that. Come on, 1, 2, 1, 2. Here, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Come on, 1, 2, 1, 2. Here, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Here, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Come on, 1, 2, 1, 2. Here, 1, 2. New style, new year, first day, Halloween, hotter than nuclear, fall back lounge chair. Kick your feet up, slice turn the beat up, and I'ma hug the mic like a Chris wife beater. Same's the name, I do the damn thing, not a sucker for fame, but I rock diamond rings and watches. Damn, do they watch us? 24/7 broadcast for your stage or your concert. New movement, YouTube it. You like it cause you choose it. It must be the music, driving them crazy. See me when I'm moving, making moves for the ladies. Center of the cipher, more than a writer. Freestyle deadly as a viper, I bite ya. Grab the mic and do the damn thing, hot pop. Always be remembered, you saying
metaphors and adjectives assimilate. You second rate at best and stressed by sentences I formulate. It's detrimental to your health when kids spit on her track. She got you searching for your ego, wishing for it back. She gripped the mic so hard, surprising she don't snap her wrist. That girl is sick as shit, just like the flow she spit. Definition of a lyricist, you looking at her. Compliment or disrespect whoever spitting after. Dominican and Puerto Rican, watch your mic get damaged. She spit it better than you speak in English or in Spanish. I'm sick to devastations, blasting all these number twos. What makes me think that I'm the one to envy you a dude? I'm nasty on the verse and sick with adjectives and verbs. Transfer language into art, but your MC's just writing words. If I'm up next, your mic is blessing, MC's leaving present. Still, you want contest, I bring my pen, you bring your skills. Bring your skills. Bring your skills. One, two, one, two. Yeah, what? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Come on, what? 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, 1, 2. The mic come out the woodwork. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, what? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Come on, what? 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, 1, 2. Yo, give me that microphone. I'm taking over like Skull and Bones. If you don't wanna see them boys in your home, stay in your zone. It's the attack of the clones, cause these dudes on my bone like they gotta love Jones.
Bernie Sanders told him.
It shouldn't be that. Is this illegal? Is this unethical? Tell us what the charge is.
Well, Jake, the charges the Sanders campaign is saying the Clinton campaign is fundraising events like last weekend we saw. This is available to the Sanders campaign as well. You can do joint fundraising committees. Jake, this is one of the things that happened with these campaigns. The Clinton campaign is beholden to big donors here, but there's nothing illegal that we can see in this at this point. But the Sanders campaign certainly wants to raise this as a
Again, checking back again with the best political panel in the business. Jonathan Tassini, let me start with you as a Sanders supporter. This accusation from the Sanders campaign that there's something untoward that the Clinton campaign is doing with the Democratic National Committee in this fundraising. The DNC says, hey, we offered to set something like this up with the Sanders.
In an indirect way to actually support Hillary Clinton's fundraising efforts, and they're saying that that's not the proper issue. And that'll be up to FEC, the experts, the lawyers, to decide if that's correct or not.
Governor Granholm, here's what Larry Noble with the Campaign Legal Center told Think Progress. Quote, they, meaning the DNC, really are throwing their weight behind a particular candidate. Their argument is usually that it helps the party generally, but the practical and legal reality is that it benefits Hillary Clinton. You just don't expect this kind of thing to happen in the primaries. People are pushing the envelope further and further.
I mean, the question doing something improper just as an extension, again, of the personal is as though Bernie Sanders' team is singing off of the Republican playbook, and that is very dangerous.
So what I said was, and I want to find out if that's true, but I want to add one other thing up is because, with all due respect, the DNC has not been even-handed here, and it goes back
great again together. We appreciate your support. Your enthusiasm has been amazing. Let's translate that into your vote.
Welcome back to this special edition of the Lead Tapper. That was Donald Trump's daughter Ivanka encouraging Miss the deadline.
Because they're anticipating the crowd to even get bigger in those long crowds, or long lines rather, in the morning and probably again later tonight, as you said. Polls had a big rally back in Prospect Park. Hillary Clinton has also used Brooklyn as her
Head to the polls today. Donald Trump is picking up an endorsement.
I voted early.
For?
Only one time for Donald Trump.
And have you always been a Trump supporter, or did you wait for the field to narrow before?
I waited for the field to narrow. First of all, I'm a close personal friend of Donald's for 25 years. So there's a personal friendship involved in it as well. But I really didn't make the choice to support him until about two weeks ago. And I said I supported him, but I don't endorse him because I'm not part of the campaign. That's about as good as you're going to get in any candidate. And I agree with him.
Best we're better than is. The truth is what I'm getting at when I'm ripping that style, flipping like an acrobat, accurate as a quarterback. I'm on a better path. Do the math. 1 2 1 2. Here, what? 1 2 1 2 1 2. Come on, what? 2 1 2. Here, 1 2. New style, new the music, driving them crazy. See me when I'm moving, making moves for the ladies. Center of the cipher, more. I told him definition dismantle it. Rappers not a cancerous. My flow is so original. The wagon tried to banish it.
Disrespect whoever's spitting after. Diminish all these number twos. What makes me think that I'm the one that envy you a dude? I'm nasty on the version, sick with adjectives and verbs. Transfer language into art, but I'm just writing words. If I'm up next, your mic is blessing MCs leaving presents. Still you want contest, I'll bring my pen.
Next on to the back of a compound where part of the security service headquarters. This particular part, actually bodyguards effectively responsible for looking after Afghan guys. That was Taliban. That second attacker to have been killed. A lot of them appear to have been civilians, women and children. We don't have a precise
Bernie Sanders.
It sure is. And the interesting thing is, everybody keeps saying that.
I think Jennifer Granholm's point is absolutely on target, and that is that he ought to pull back. He's not going to win this, but he will have a price for his support. And if he handles this in a more gracious way, so he's not driving up our negative, then I
How's it going?
yet. The polls are open until 9 o'clock. Number one, down in the city itself, and you know it very well, can Bernie Sanders turn out enough liberal voters to offset what we assume will be Hillary among African Americans and Latinos? And again, we want to see that. Can Hillary deliver in the minority community in New York, especially in a place where she's run twice before, as she did?
Politics. Only 32% of voters right now.
About the shape of the electorate today, joining us, our team of political commentators and observers and analysts, Bill Press and Bill.
I also think one of the things kind of interesting to me, we look at these as we look.
Polling that on a national basis shows them very, very close, if not statistically.
He's the executive vice president. Thank you. What are your expectations for tonight? Can Donald Trump win big enough?
Hometown, this is his backyard. He's very much to peel them away from the person who had the popular vote.
Resigned. We're seeing reports Lewandowski, the campaign.
All right, Wolf, be well.
Thank you. John Kasich, who ran second in the New York polls, going
more devious, and it's worse.
But what he calls devious, the RNC.
Discipline. We're feeling very good. There is.
They're not reacting specifically to that, Wolf, but they're paying.
By manufacturing job losses up here, Senator Cruz did not campaign much. Surprised a lot of people. Kasich has been up here. Another place when we overlay the congressional. Donald Trump has a big night in New York tonight. Let's assume he gets 75. Maybe he gets more than that. Now, if you had a strong liberal for Donald Trump next Tuesday night, if he can run the board, win Connecticut, win Rhode Island, Pennsylvania, a little bit more likely that he gets there. Tough, but possible.
All right, John, thanks for heading back over here to the panel. I want to bring in the entire panel right now. Kelly.
Ryan would be wise to get on board with Donald Trump, who is broadening the ideological stance of the Republican Party. Lose this election to Hillary Clinton. We'll watch her walk right into the White House.
About Mitch McConnell, though, he hates Ted.
That's right.
Yeah,
I was going to say that.
Call him a liar.
Yeah.
On the floor of the Senate.
The lesser of two evils.
I don't know. Maybe McConnell's going to turn into a.
But let me ask that. Let me ask to our Republicans if why.
Subtracting versus how much is he adding, and I think he's going to end up subtracting far more. The other issue is when you're talking about going to the second ballot, there are rules for a convention. They have.
He's criticizing the process when people don't get to vote.
But I didn't hear him talking.
At that point, but to the other point, this has been a fascinating conversation. Gloria's right. Mitch McConnell is a spy.
Unique because after tonight, Ted Cruz will literally
the fame.
In the meantime, there's breaking news coming into the situation right now. Exit polling, Democrats.
And I know in town, and these guys do as well, he's calling everybody in this town who does.
A bunch of states. They even fired a bunch of people who were on the ground.
Yeah.
So this was a strategic decision. It wasn't an oversight. It's a thought. No matter how successful, needs to
Tom Watson, legendary golfer.
Always nice to meet another one.
You play 1.2 strokes better than others in poor weather.
The weather can be your biggest opponent.
Off takes one to know one. Tom.
At the National Education Association, our members are committed to creating opportunities.
And it's been a vigorous campaign. New Yorkers are taking measure the two people to unite the party and take on the threats from Republicans like Cruz and Donald to these primaries.
Joel Benenson of the Hillary Clinton campaign, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank
you. Ralph Nader, what happened in 2000 in Florida, he took about 90,000 votes. Al Gore
No way.
You always want to know you're getting a great.
Already in Pennsylvania, speaking to a crowd at Penn State. Let's listen in for a moment. Very much. And out front now, Hillary Clinton campaign chair, John Podesta. John, thank you.
Win because the voters of New York know Hillary. They know what she does. They know that she delivers.
Up in Utah, where they couldn't have planned, they didn't plan properly for that with the Xerox ballots. People in Arizona, it's an embarrassment. And whoever wins this nomination,
I can read over 1,000 research reports every day to help you keep abreast of market movements.
Make it hard to keep up.
But together, we can stay one step ahead.
Make it. How's it going, Watson? Welcome to the bank.
Connection that takes place nowhere else in quite the same way.
Way to be a gentleman, that's what I'm talking
At
about.
The transformative power of a great education.
Parties. But what we're hearing is from the Trump campaign, these veiled.
What do you make of the numbers? Because it's not just the numbers in terms of moderate and conservative.
Gets more delegates statewide because, as we talked about earlier in the hour, it's kind of
Better advice.
That's great. Today's fast-moving markets make it hard to keep up.
Actions. They speak louder. We like that. Not just because we're
30,000 people download the new app.
We're good.
5 million.
Good.
Hey guys, how's the pool?
Look into it. There is an investigation that is going to be open, but that's all going to take.
Entire city blocks just getting purged, erased. Sanders' campaign calls these voting problems a disgrace. They be their voters, but I mean, agree? I mean, this is a disgrace.
Whoever in Philadelphia for some different reasons, but same voter disruption. There's a clear need for that part of the entire operation from top to bottom in every state.
And Donald Trump hitting very effectively in their populist appeal. They're saying the system is rigged.
Right.
Well, it's also
people around the world are watching this
Look,
tonight.
if we say
You've got, obviously, California. Right. There's still a path for victory for Bernie to win, especially if it's a close vote.
Yeah. This is exactly the kind of to the fury that's going on out there on the Republican side. Delegates.
Change every few months. Please, it's time you got the